It's time for Grim Reviews. Playing through mods and helping you pick the best of the bunch. Let us begin. Eye of the Dragon, published on the 30th of January 2013 by Dragon. Now this is perhaps one of the most visually stunning dungeons that you're going to see. It's based on Eye of the Beholder 2, and yes, it's visually stunning. Look at this. This is the very first thing that you're going to see. You're outside, it's snowing, it's gorgeous. Admittedly, it is going to chew up your frame rate a little bit, but that's not too bad because this area is fairly small. All the other areas, though, like I said, gorgeous. It looks fantastic. There are a plethora of new assets, be they monsters, items, tile sets. Everything's reworked. Even your magic system has been tweaked. I didn't notice any new spells, but certainly you've got a tweaked magic system. You have to find the scrolls in order to be able to use the spells in the first place, and you can scribe scrolls with spells so that you can cast those without using your mana later. It's a nice system. How does it stack up in the other elements? Well, it's incredibly frustrating, and the first thing I did after playing quite a ways in, a couple of hours in fact, was restart it with a higher level party, because it's punishing rather than challenging. It's a very difficult dungeon, and it is punishing, not challenging. I was not challenged by this dungeon. It was hard. It was not hard in a way that made me go, ooh, that was difficult. I've got to try it this way to get it to go how it should have. I needed to do this instead of that. It's hard in you're trapped and now you're just going to get smacked in the face until you're dead. And wasn't that hard? Yeah, it was hard. It wasn't a challenge though. Let me talk about combat for an example of this. Let's say that I toss you into a small room and then I flood said room with monsters. And now you're trapped in the corner and you've just got to stand there and wail on the monsters until they die or you die. This is not challenging. This is not enjoyable. You're going to die the first time. The second time, maybe then you will have a chance because you'll have prepared. You'll know what's coming. You might have brewed up some healing potions, some energy potions, a speed potion. That'll let you survive. Maybe. Overall, it's terrible. It should not be like that. If you're going to go with challenging combat, it's got to involve movement. Movement in combat is a big deal in Grimrock. Grimrock, you cannot just stand there and take it in the face from pretty much anything. You don't want these monsters hitting you, and it is certainly not challenging or involving to have the combat where I just stand there and click attack until the monster dies. It's not enjoyable, it's a pain in the ass. It does this far too often as well. Quite often difficulty spikes because it throws you into a room where you can't move and you just got to stand there and get hit. It's stupid. That is not good combat. If you're going to do good combat, do it something like 2 monsters in a 9x9 room. The player can move. They can get cornered if they're not paying attention, but if they pay attention, if they focus on what they're doing, they can move freely and it works far better. It's a more interesting way to deal with combat. So that's combat. It ranges from mediocre to bad. Puzzles. None of them were hard. None of the puzzles were hard at all. I breezed through this dungeon apart from those obvious combat areas. And those weren't so bad once I'd reloaded and gone in with a high level party, because just grinding through those was a chore. The puzzles are not difficult. You've got some riddles which are nice. I do love a good riddle. But quite often what will happen is it's unclear, or the item you need is miles away. I got up to a point in one of the towers where I knew what the clue meant. It's an arrow. And I think, shit, where was the last place I saw an arrow? Oh gods, it was in the basement. The basement. I'm in the top of the friggin' tower. I've got to walk for friggin' miles to get an arrow to open this door. And that's bad. I got stuck on another part where I asked for help, hoping no one answered my request, but I was hoping that it was an item that I had in my inventory. I knew it wasn't because I'd gone and stuck every item into the alcove, and I'd gone, oh no, I'm gonna have to go back and look. And I did. I had to go back for miles looking for the item that I needed to open this stupid puzzle. And that was where the difficulty came from. It was either backtracking for miles because I didn't have the item I needed, or it was trial and error. A pressure plate puzzle where it's giving you the clue. We need to put some sort of weights on the pressure plates. Yes, that's what you generally do with pressure plates. Is there a clue as to the formation? No. You've just got to put them on there until you get the right answer. Trial and error is a terrible way to do it. It's not really a puzzle, it's just a chore. I have to stand there and take this off, put it on, take it off, put it on, no, yes, no, 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 no. Oh, it finally opened. Whoopee. Ugh. Other ones, yeah, a lot of puzzles where it's just unclear. It's unclear. Give me some sort of hint. You're just providing me with a puzzle, and I'm thinking, yeah, I can see I need to put something here. I need to do something with this. There's no wall text. There's no clue. What do you want from me? You saw that thing where it said, I'm hungry, and I was putting items in there, and it fire blasted me when I put a coin in there. Turns out I need 3 gold coins to open that, but feed me. At that point, you try every item in your inventory, and nothing works. You're like, ugh. Yeah, it was one of those cases where you had to backtrack in order to solve that puzzle, but that was a bit of a pain in the ass as well. The other major difficulty spike will be, of course, insta-death. Insta-death all over the place. This dungeon will kill you repeatedly for the slightest error. You made a mistake? You did. You did this wrong? You did. Don't push that button. Why not? Because you did now. Ugh. It's... If you don't want someone to open that door or push that button yet, then fireburst them. Fireburst them once so I go, ow, that hurt, and the door didn't open. I won't press that button until I've got the keys that will open the door. Rather than, oh, I'm dead and I haven't saved it in half an hour. Great. So obviously you can see it's quite frustrating. There are other problems as well. And I'm just going to say straight off, I didn't finish it. I got to the end of the Moonmark Tower. At which point I walked through a teleporter and noticed there was a key sitting there, and I went, oh, I'm going to have to walk all the way back there to get that key. No, you're not, because the door to that room's sealed from inside, and now you can't get back in, and I haven't saved the game in 2 hours. And I thought, I'm not playing this again. It has been far too difficult for me to progress to this point, not because it's hard, but because it was such a chore. It's a shame, because the dungeon looks fantastic. It's got great puzzles, the story elements are there, it's got interesting new mechanics in there as well, but, oh gods, there's so much dragging it down. There is so much dragging it down. It is just so frustrating playing through this. I could not believe it. And I will note that there was a thing that said, don't feed me coins. And I thought, why not? And I put the coins in there and they disappeared. And I thought, ah, shit. Because I needed those coins for the stupid door, so I had to use the console to spawn more coins in. Luckily, I knew that those were DM Gore Coin Gold, because I tried to use the console to spawn in the key, which I'd left inside that room, which I couldn't get into, but I don't know what its ID was, so I couldn't actually spawn it in. And, yeah. Why is that there? Why is that there? You're giving me some rocks if I put other items in there. Why would you let me put quest items in there? Just make it so I can't put them in there. Oh, why? So many things. So many things. It's just guess, grind, backtrack. That's what I'm going to say about this. It definitely needs some improvement before I could really recommend it. So it's one of the most visually stunning mods that I've ever seen, and yeah, you might enjoy it. I've found it incredibly frustrating, but it does have the brilliant story, a non-linear dungeon. It looks fantastic. New assets, new monsters, new spell system. It's got all that going for it. So I've got to give it a 3. A 3 for all the good stuff, being dragged down by all that bad stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I sounded like I absolutely hated this. It's not absolutely terrible. It's still worth maybe you having a look at. Maybe you'll enjoy it more than I did. I certainly didn't. I found it more frustrating and grindy than it was anything else. It was hard, but not in a good hard. It was a, I'm killing you because I can hard, rather than a, ooh, you gotta think of a way to get around this challenge hard. Yeah, that